Welcome back, soccer friends, soccer citizens, to Soccer City. We're back with our first World Cup edition of Soccer City. I got a nice bottle of wine, like I like to do here on these streams, and it's Danny Brams here. Been a couple weeks since you've heard from us here at Soccer City. We kind of closed things down once Charlotte FC wrapped their sort of first half of the season. We covered the Ascent, Carolina Ascent, through their championship bid that did not result in success. Tough loss for them in the championship game, but loved talking with their players and coach and everything in their playoff run. And life was good, but it's now the World Cup, folks. It is World Cup watch party here on Soccer City, something brand new. And we already got people here in the chat. There's already way more people than I thought. I guess people just love to see me drink wine on live TV. So thank you to Miami Sports 72 for being our first commenter of the day. And like I said, we're here for Colombia versus Uzbekistan. It's Group K. It's round one. It's a traditional power, a South American powerhouse, one of the best nations in World Cup history. Recent quarterfinalists. James Rodriguez still not team from the 2014 run. Against Uzbekistan, a first-timer in the World Cup. Brand newbies in this tournament of ours. Probably wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the whole 48-team expansion thing. But I know I'm so pumped. There's already a dozen or so, let's just call it hundreds, let's call it thousands here in the stream, here to watch. The teams are in the tunnel. This is a second screen experience, so I'm so happy. All of you are probably watching this game on either Telemundo or on Fox here in America. And I'm so honored to have you here as a second screen. Hopefully we keep this audience and grow this audience as we go along because we're live. We're here to talk about it, and it's going to be great. The lineups are in. The anthems are coming. And I am so pleased to be joined here in Soccer City for the first time in 2026 by one of my absolutely very best friends in the entire world. Mike Slipsky joins Soccer City live from Raleigh. He's the greatest lawyer in the history of the state of North Carolina. You can look that up. You can check me on that. He's my buddy since high school days in Utah. He taught me all about the beautiful game. He is Mike Slipsky, and he is here. Welcome back to Soccer City, Mike. Cheers to you. What are you drinking?
I'm drinking a ginger beer, but
ginger beer. What kind of ginger beer?
Sorry
bro?
to disappoint.
So here's we need details. We got a long way to go. We're going to be here at least till halftime. If it sucks, we're bailing at halftime. But if it's good, we're going to stick it through all the way for the next hour or two. You go as long as you want. But we need details. I'm drinking a Trevento Argentinian Malbec from the Mendoza region, 2024. Everybody knows me, Lowe's, that I love my Mendoza Malbecs. So tell me a little bit about your ginger beer as we get ready for these anthems here.
It's Fever Tree, and it comes in very small cans, which is why I have a backup here. I like a hot ginger beer. This one is actually the first time I've ever tried it. It's not super hot. There are some good ones. The name escapes me. There's even a North Carolina one that's extremely hot, but it's good. Keeps me awake at this time of night.
It is late. And what do you think about these late kickoffs? We have 9 o'clocks, 10 o'clocks, midnight kickoffs. We're 10 o'clock East Coast here. This is wild. This is crazy for the Cup.
Yeah, well, we're definitely not catering to the European fan base.
Yeah, definitely not. Definitely not.
I kind of thought, yeah, maybe we would have like noon or 10 a.m. kickoffs to try to accommodate Europe, but it doesn't bother me. I mean, I'm a night owl anyway, so I'll stay up and watch.
I saw a great tweet. We're going to be looking at tweets. We're going to be monitoring social media, bringing you this whole second screen experience. Saw a great tweet that said, Uzbekistan, Colombia at 3 a.m. is the ultimate test of my World Cup loyalties here. So that had to be probably some Euro tweeting that. Very cool. Want to give you a little bit of the lay of the land here. I've got my iPad. We don't want to get any copyright violations that we're kind of known for on this channel at times. So I'm sitting here watching the Uzbek anthem, and the Colombian anthem's about to come up too. And we got a special guest, Mike, because you're not the only guest here. We got another guest. Our own Jorge Torres, a local journalist here who covers Charlotte FC, and proudly reps his Colombian heritage. Jorge, what's up? You're at Mezcal up in North Uptown. What's the scene like there as we get ready for this Colombian anthem, brother?
Dude, it is packed. The anthem is... Hold up. Let me see if I can just switch this, because the anthem's about to come on. Can I switch cameras?
Yeah, you can do whatever you want, man.
How do
We
I
got all the
switch?
time in the world here.
What's going on?
Oh yeah, there's a good scene. There's a good scene.
Okay. What?
All right, stand at
Kind of like
attention here,
that's kind
y'all.
of like the ref cam we're getting so used to in this game.
Yeah, it does look like a ref cam.
And then we're about to go inside.
Hands on hearts. We love it. Wow, Hamas has tears in his eyes. This is beautiful. Very cool, bro. Very cool. Good
These are
crowd
the
there.
things that you live for. This is what brings you back home. And I can't wait. It's been a long 8-year wait,
Yeah.
8-year wait. And it's like, man, it's like a huge homecoming. It's awesome. It is
Yeah, I mean,
the Azteca is a sea of yellow, just how you expected it. And this is awesome.
Colombia didn't qualify in 2022 to go out to Qatar. They were round of 16, I think, in 2018 in Russia. And what's the vibe there? Is it all Colombia? Are there any Uzbeks there, Jorge, that are trying to poison the party, or what?
Ecuadorian shirts, but it is a straight yellow, blue, yellow, blue, red. It is an actual Colombian spot, and it's about to get crazy up in here. But it is a vibe. Love it. This is the most full I've ever seen this place. Like, we come here for like Charlotte FC road games. Like, the Lufudia comes here, and we have our own little spot here as well at times. But like, to see it like this on a big day like this, man, it gives you the goosebumps.
Yeah, what do you think of this lineup for Colombia? Just real quick, as a super fan, we got all the big names: Luis Diaz, LJ Suarez, Jean Arias, James Rodriguez. Everybody's here. Is it go time for the Parceros or what, brother?
100%. I think the only one people were always questioning was Puerta going to be the one starting? Was it going to be Richard Rio? I think with the way Puerta has been like starting, what's been playing in these friendlies, earning him the start. Richard Rios has kind of struggled a little bit, but like, everybody in here should tell you that is the starting lineup that needed to be out game one to set the tone. It's also the exact starting lineup that we played versus Jordan in their last friendly in last week when they went in San Diego. So this is completely expected. This is the strongest lineup, and this is what sets a statement.
I love it. Well, Jorge, we're going to let you enjoy the game. You're there to party. You can't spend the whole party on the internet. Why don't you go meet some cool people? Me and Mike are going to hold it down and come back to us later after a goal or a halftime. We'll check in with you throughout the game, but I don't want to take you away from what looks like a pretty kicking party, brother.
100%, man. I'll be here. Just hit me up, and I'll be ready.
All right, sounds good, bro. Excellent. So that is Jorge Torres reporting live from Mexico. Mezcal, I should say. The game's in Mexico. The game's at the Azteca. And Mike, since we're here, we can talk about anything. Let's start there. What do you think about this game being in Mexico City? The three countries hosting. It's not just USA. It's the North American World Cup, you could call it. And the Mexican crowds have been amazing. Azteca looks incredible.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's cool. The try host. Although I think one of my kids was telling me the next one is going to be like intercontinental between the Iberian Peninsula and South America. So
yeah, it's weird. There's like the opening match. There's like one or two matches in Brazil to kick off the tournament, and then all the rest of the games are in Spain, Portugal, and Morocco. So it's intercontinental. It's transatlantic. It's crazy, but. This is kind of FIFA. The only way to expand is just to keep growing and growing and growing. So they're doing it.
Yeah. Well, you know me. I'm just mostly concerned that all the travel is sustainable. So I want to see some sailing ships, maybe some rowboats.
Yeah, we can't be the carbon footprint of a World Cup happening across oceans and across four countries is going to be a little bit tough, obviously.
But Yeah, but that's why they're great athletes. They could do it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Jorge, maybe they could rowboat over there. Maybe the Norwegians, at least, I'm certainly would row. Did you see their whole
Yeah,
promo
they could
video
be
and
the
everything they've been doing? It's been crazy.
they could be the coxswains for all the teams.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
exactly, exactly. What?
but no, I mean, I think it's cool to see him in some of these Mexican stadiums. Obviously, I've seen plenty of international games at the Azteca. Not that I've never been, but I feel fairly familiar with it from TV. But it's also cool just to see some of these other Mexican stadiums, and
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the Canadian ones I kind of saw, and what was it, the Women's World Cup a few years ago back in Canada.
Sure,
But
most definitely.
yeah, it's cool. And I don't know. I also, have you been following any of these, foreign tourists making videos of how cool they find America to be?
Yeah, I kind of wonder if how much of it might be a psyop or how much of it is just branding. There's almost nothing authentic anymore in our media landscape, and I say that as a person whose profession is the media landscape. But it's almost like I can't trust anything anymore that I see on the internet. There has been some truly wholesome content and good stuff. What I have not seen, we'll talk more about that as we go because we got a lot of discussion to talk about just general World Cup stuff. Like I said, this is our first Soccer City episode since the Cup has begun. I spent the opening weekend of the Cup in Puerto Rico in a fabulous vacation. We could talk about that, although it would probably bore people to death, but had a good time. So I'm happy to be back. I want to get content out there. There's a million different like second screen watch party experiences. You could be with Trevor or Noah right now if you're in this audience, but you're here with me and Mike. So we appreciate everyone who's here. Get some comments going. If you want to get in the stream, just post a comment that says you want to be on screen, and maybe I'll send you the link to get in. Who knows? Depends how much of this wine I drink. But as far as wholesome European content, people coming over here to discover America, the what is it? The Lafayettes and the the Neo Lafayettes, as it were. I wonder. None of them I saw came from Uzbekistan. So Jorge gave us the breakdown on the Colombia lineup. Uzbekistan here with a free kick early. 2 minutes into this match, and Uzbekistan is threatening with a free kick. You got to love it, right?
Yeah, just actually watching my second screen here, and it looks like Colombia dealt with it.
Yeah,
I do feel like an honor. I'm an honorary Colombian, by the way.
And what's the reason for that? I
Well,
feel like I need to know more there.
yeah, my kids went to Spanish immersion school, and for whatever reason, it was heavily dominated by Colombian expat instructors. So whenever we force our kids to speak Spanish in public, usually they hear, "Oh, what a nice Colombian accent you have."
That's
Which
funny.
apparently it's like the Colombian accent's seen as sort of the fancy
Was
uh, Queen's English kind of accent among
It's like
Spanish-speaking countries.
it's the upper crust of South American dialect accents or what? Who knew?
Apparently,
We'll have to ask
so,
Jorge for his take on that.
yeah.
Was Senor Salvo from Colombia or the Spanish teacher in
Chile,
our high school? Chile. That's right. Yeah. Well, I went to Peru this last summer, so I have beef against Chile because the Peruvians do. So I don't know where the Chilean accent fits on the scale as far as upper crust and well-to-do, but Uzbek didn't get much from the free kick, and now Colombia's kind of taken over. What do you think of James Rodriguez? I don't know how much MLS you watch, Mike, but he had his little stint with Minnesota United. Made a bit of an impact, but he's already exiting the league after only a handful of games played. Do you think he can really make an impact in this World Cup still, 12 years after the huge splash he made in Brazil 2014?
I think so. I mean, as I try to emphasize to my kids when we're watching this, that part of the reason why you see some of these aging veterans do fairly well in the World Cup is just like this is not the way you would construct a soccer team. Like if you were trying to construct the best soccer teams, right? I mean, hey, we'll just take everybody who was born within a geographic area and put them on a team together. And there's a reason why some of these guys, even the big stars, are no longer playing at the biggest clubs. And so I think there's just a little more slack
Yeah.
to have an impact in this competition than in, say, the Champions League or something. So
Right.
I think he could do it. And, it seems like he does best in these international tournaments. Maybe that's some guys are just, big game Jameses, big game
And right,
Thomases.
and think about, I mean, I think a great illustration of that principle you're talking about is Leo Messi, right? I mean, a lot of people expected him to just sort of be on the washed up side as we see Colombia get another free kick. Kind of some hard fouls. Uzbek fouling hard early here, but a lot of European pundits were like, "Oh, Messi, he's gone to a retirement league and all that stuff," and like they thought, he must not be well prepared for this World Cup. But he's dominating MLS, and he dominated last night against Algeria. Inspired me to drink some Argentinian wine tonight while watching a Colombian match. But he looked pretty good. And like you said, an aging superstar can still do very well in a World Cup, even if their best club days are behind them.
Yeah, and of course, there's just far fewer games in a World Cup than in a regular season for a
Right.
domestic league. So in some ways, they can just sort of save themselves.
Yeah, it used to be you just had to win 6, right? Now you have to win 7 to win it all, I think. So with the expansion.
But,
How do you feel about the expansion?
I mean, I guess I'm sort of in the more the merrier camp. I mean, we got to have some kind of limit, but if it reduces qualifying, I would be totally fine with that. I think the number of qualifying matches and friendlies, international friendlies, is just crazy. The burden they're putting on these players. So
Yeah, the Nations League has helped a little bit with that in terms of making some type of meaning behind those friendlies, but not much. Not much for sure.
yeah,
Just a quick reset here as we're 5 minutes into the match. I want to thank the thousands of you who are watching us stream this live on YouTube. It's a brand new experiment here on Soccer City for the 2026 World Cup, and what you've got is me, Danny Brams, soccer lover, not exactly a soccer expert, but a soccer lover. Charlotte FC super fan, World Cup fan from way back. I've got my best friend from high school, Michael Slipsky, joining me live from Raleigh. This is the guy who got me into soccer, taught me to love the game all the way back in '94. Mike, you grew up. Tell people a little bit about your background of growing up, moving around in the U.S. military system as a child and growing up following Liverpool and moving to North Carolina and then Utah and teaching young Danny Brams to love the beautiful game in the '94 World Cup.
yeah. Well, you covered most of it. I started out like a lot of kids in the '80s, playing YMCA soccer in good old Montgomery, Alabama, which is where the U.S. Air Force had us stationed at the time. Then we moved to England for 4 years and, played a lot of soccer. And that's what most Americans, I think, still don't quite get is, we just played soccer. Like, we had a 15-minute break, sort of mid-morning break in school, played a little soccer. Lunchtime, played soccer. Cub Scout troop had a soccer team attached. School had a soccer team attached. Weekends, we had 4 television channels in England at the time. Played a lot of soccer. Played a lot of outside. So,
Yeah,
it's just seeing my own kids and seeing American kids where, oh well, we've got 3 practices a week, and then I do a special training at this place with private lessons. Da, da, da. I mean, it's all great, and it certainly can help, but I mean, you are going up against entire countries where the kids play nothing but soccer all the time. No mommy, daddy driving you. You just learn by playing a ton of soccer. So that's basically what happened to me. Spent 4 years doing that. Came back to actually Fayetteville, North Carolina, and
Vietnam.
so,
Yeah, let's go.
yeah, I'll tell you, that was good preparation for YMCA soccer in Fayetteville. So I just came back, basically just dominated.
Yeah,
Had
everybody thought you were British at that point. I'm sure.
had all the orange slices and Capri Suns I could drink and eat in that league. But I actually sort of fell away. That's when I picked up basketball, moving to North Carolina back in the days of the great ACC. And sort of fell away from soccer for a few years until I got to high school and played again. So that was where we met. And then, of course, during our high school years, I guess it was the summer between freshman and sophomore year when we had the '94 Cup.
Yep.
So that was mind blowing to me to see that come to the U.S. It was
Yeah, I
so
remember.
hard. It was so hard to follow soccer back in those days. I mean, you might get a
It was
box
definitely
score or
hard.
two.
It was definitely hard, and the cup games were on ABC, right? And it was, it was a lot of ESPN production and whatnot. I remember there was a lot of excitement around it. I remember the commercials that first got me into it. There was a great campaign with this, like the Nike campaign that year was this guy who was like a psycho goalie, and he was like obsessed with like Valderrama and Ronaldo Nazario and Roberto Baggio, and he would do these crazy sort of like undercover type videos that had all this classic '90s style cuts. And I remember, you and I started hanging out in high school, and I was the guy that grew up with like, the parents that were like, yeah, you're not playing soccer. That's for little wussies. You're playing basketball and baseball and football, the American sports. And so I never really got into soccer until that '94 Cup. And you were such a guide for me, and you helped me sort of transition. I got really into that World Cup and watched so much of it, and saw Baggio blow it in the final, and Romario and Ronaldo Nazario and those guys. Brazil won it that year in '94 here in the U.S. I got so into it, and then you helped me transition that spark of interest I got from this World Cup into trying to follow the Premier League in the '90s, even though it was so tough. Like you said, you couldn't really follow things. I remember being a Blackburn Rovers fan to start, and then I started playing the FIFA video game on Nintendo and PlayStation, and started playing with Arsenal, and that was great. And that's when I became more of an Arsenal fan, and then finally soccer coverage started to open up, and just soccer became kind of as I started to work in the sports media industry, soccer became sort of the one I could become a fan of, because when you cover football and baseball and all that, you kind of you see how the sausage is made. I don't know, just soccer's sort of my fandom sport, whereas everything else I do for work, if you will. So it's been great, and now here we are, 30 years later, still great friends, still great soccer fans, and I'm so excited to have you here on this stream tonight. Thanks for the comment. Blake Bushy says, let's go Colombia. And I'm cheering for Colombia too here. It's kind of a chippy match. I was looking for a bet tonight. I've been betting we can talk a little bit about sort of the betting angles of the cup. I don't know if you like to play the action, Mike, but I bet under 2.5, so 2 or fewer total goals in this match. I think it's good because I don't think Uzbekistan can score, and I don't think Colombia can score 3. So it's been pretty chippy so far. Are you able to we're the second screen here. This is experimental. Tell us, commenters and viewers, audience, tell us how we're doing here. If we're getting the right balance of general conversation and game conversation. We want to hear from you, but it's a World Cup watch party in Soccer City, and Colombia seems to be getting the better of things. I like this little view thing we've got on SofaScore that sort of, it's pretty accurate and pretty up to date. We're seeing, the lines and the graphical representation of what's happening on the pitch about this in almost as real time to the Fox broadcast. So that's good. I don't know what they're going to do during the hydration break, but
very reminiscent of Soccer Management Simulator 2.
Right, exactly. Another before I played FIFA, we got into Soccer Management Simulator. Which was like a text-based game that you downloaded from America Online back in the day. To take you way back, folks, but I don't know. No one seems to want to shoot this game.
Really
have we even seen a shot? Have we even seen a shot attempt in 13 minutes here in Azteca?
I don't think so. The Colombian team has the look of a team that's like, we should crush this team.
Right.
And let's go. And sometimes that can be just, you need to just slow down a little bit.
Yeah, it makes me, sometimes when I start to look at this, let's look at maybe Uzbekistan. I didn't really examine too closely their path to qualifying here, but you can see it looks like they've played, their friendlies were against Netherlands and Canada, lost those two. 0-0 draw with Venezuela, beat Gabon. I mean, good on that, I suppose. What was their qualifying? How did Uzbekistan even get here? There it is. Way back in October, or way back in last June, 3-0 against Qatar, who's in this cup. 0-0 against the Emirates. A draw against Iran. Beat Kyrgyzstan. A man up. I don't know. I just don't see much to worry about with Uzbekistan if I'm Colombia. You're right.
I mean, their best player is a defender, so that's
right. They do have Kusanov, right, who's playing for Manchester City.
Yeah, so he's a lead, I think, but I think if I was them, I would probably park the bus.
Yeah, and they seem to be doing that, and it's a lot of fouls, but there's a nice ball forward, leads to a goal kick for Colombia, but I don't know. I mean, the Uzbeks seem to have sort of the defend and counter thing going, so that's not bad. Hamas isn't really doing anything. What's up? What about now? So, Mike, you're a Liverpool fan. How does it feel to see Luis Diaz out here? Do you miss him? Do you think that maybe Liverpool's problems last season in the Premier League started when they let Luis Diaz go?
I'm not sure if it started, but it didn't help. And yeah, I honestly, it was a mystery to me. I guess the word was he wanted out. I don't really know why. Maybe he thought Gakpo was getting too much playing time. I think a lot of Liverpool fans would agree with that sentiment.
Yeah,
Especially after
right.
the
Yeah,
season.
exactly. He wasn't the only one.
But yeah, I mean, I think honestly, I think the big problem with Liverpool was just some of our stars were getting old and no one wanted to help them.
Right.
So,
Well, does
but
Diaz
yeah,
even have any
it's good to see
touches?
Luis.
Yeah, does Luis even have any touches in this game? Let's switch over to this screen, and again, bear with me. Thanks to everyone for being patient. Thanks for the comments. Blake is our commenter of the day so far, and he says Liverpool supporter here too, missing Lucho all season. I think so. Gakpo did not get it done. Verts was definitely a bust. But if we look at what Luis is doing so far, he's got 8 touches. He's been fouled. He lost the ball once. Need to see more from the guy.
Yeah,
This is a guy that, if you're going to dominate, your stars need to dominate, especially in the World Cup.
yeah, you would think like he, James Rodriguez, and the other Luis Suarez should be able to put some
And
combinations
Arias,
together.
Arias is no slouch either. I mean, it's a lot of attacking firepower to be sitting here. One thing I like, if you look on the screen right above where you see our two ignoramus heads there, you see that thing that says attack momentum. That's a graphic that SofaScore does. A big fan of SofaScore for all my statistical and live game tracking needs. I really like their momentum meter, but both it's kind of just hovering. It gets the amplitude on some of that bar graph will get a lot bigger when chances get bigger. And so far, we're not seeing anything. It looks like Arias just fired off a shot
Yeah,
that went side
but not
netting, and he's wanting a corner kick out of it. I like that sort of, attack, defending from the attacking position there. Really, really nice winning the ball back in central midfield to get this chance. I don't think that it's a corner kick, though. I think that's a little ambitious asking for a corner there.
I'd say that the Uzbeks looked a little slow to close him down. So if they keep doing that, I think they're going to pay the price tonight.
Yeah, and there's definitely too much talent, I think, for the Uzbekistan to really expect to win. But we've seen this has been a couple of upsets so far. What have you liked what you've seen so far from some of the minnows as far as Cape Verde? The 0-0 draw against Spain was amazing. A lot of 1-1 draws. Uzbeks are in with a shout here, right? They got to be.
Yeah, it's a low-scoring game, a low-scoring sport. So you can do it, especially if you're willing to suffer, play a lot of defense. But I didn't catch the Cape Verde game. It's one of those ones where it's a little hard to get up for watching it on DVR.
Yeah,
but
right.
good for them. I heard their goalkeeper played out of his mind.
He definitely did.
I mean, the other thing that's going to be interesting to see, I think there's a fair number of teams, and I would put the U.S. among them, that have a good enough starting lineup to compete with practically anybody. But I just wonder, are we going to be able to stay healthy? Do they have enough depth
Right.
to truly compete against the Frances and Germanys and
Yeah,
I would
it's
say
definitely
usually say Brazil, but they look pretty bad actually.
Yeah, Brazil looked bad. Portugal looked bad. Belgium looked bad. Croatia looked bad. A lot of teams that you've kind of considered traditional powers and threats to make a semifinal are struggling. And I feel like the A tier is shown out. Your Frances, your Germanys, your Argentinas are shown out. But the B tier, I feel like, is kind of open it's open for application. You know, it's kind of like some teams are struggling to hold their spots on that second level of elite, and there may be room for some other squads to move in. Colombia is starting to take a little bit control here, getting a lot more possession in the last 5 minutes. Got a corner kick. Hamas had a pretty nice service to the deep corner, deep into the box, not really super threatening the 6-yard box, but he kept it, you know, within the 18. Hamas looks good. I mean, I don't hate it, but I do think Hamas is most dangerous from a set piece here, much more so than open play these days. I don't know. We'll see. If I'm Uzbekistan, 20 minutes in, I'm pretty happy right now, I got to say.
Yeah. I mean, again, some of this is just, I think, if you're Colombia, don't let the adrenaline and the feeling of superiority sort of burn you out in the first half. I think they just got to maintain control, move the ball around. Like I said, I thought the Uzbeks were a little loose in defense, and if you move the ball around and find some holes, they're good enough to put the biscuit in the basket.
I want to give a shout out to if you're watching on the Fox Sports commentary, the English commentary, Warren Barton is on the analysis. He's the second man in the booth there. Warren Barton, friend of the show, former guest on Soccer City. He's been here. I encourage all of y'all, if you're watching, if you're not familiar, please subscribe to the channel because there's tons of good content. You're going to get tons of videos of us breaking things down. You're going to get tons of shorts. You're going to get sound bites, songs, highlights, all that. We hook it up on Soccer City from a Charlotte FC perspective, an MLS perspective. So if you're new, see so many people view it in the viewing room, which is cool, that are new, that names I don't recognize. So welcome. Go back and find our episode with Warren Barton. You know, he's an awesome voice. Warren Barton, talking about early days of soccer. Remember, we talked earlier about how tough it used to be to find coverage. That all started to change when Fox Sports World, which was kind of like a global sports channel, had a lot of, it even had some cricket, had some Aussie football, some Gaelic games. They rebranded, in like 2005, 2006 era as Fox Soccer Channel, and really went all in on soccer, made it so much easier. And Warren Barton was one of the main voices they had on that channel back in the day. Still doing it. A great, a former Newcastle man, one of those British commentators, presenters, broadcasters who's helped bring the beautiful game here to America and develop it media-wise for sure. Shout out Warren.
They used to have a show on there where it was like a pretend pub, I think, if it was the way it was. And
Fan Zone. It was the best, yeah.
Yeah, well, it was the Liverpool guy who was like the bartender, the Liverpool fan, right?
I'm sorry. We're thinking of two different shows. Sorry, we're thinking of two different shows. Tell me more about yours, then I'll tell you more about mine. How about that?
Yeah, well, I'm a little hazy on it, but it was. I'm
Drink some more ginger beer and see if it stirs up any memories.
I think it was like I said, I think it was the conceit was like, hey, we're sitting around the pub, talking about footy, and like the guy, I think the guy who played like the bartender became like a Fox talking head, at least for a while. It was kind of fun.
So the set was like a bar.
Yeah, I think if I'm remembering correctly. But I mean, you used to have all those kind of little scraps. Like, oh well, at 11 p.m. on Saturday nights, you get a little bit of it here, and then there'd be like the Italian League highlight show, maybe.
Yeah, yeah. The Scudetto. They were always chasing the Scudetto. Milano. Yeah, for sure.
Or you could browse the magazine rack at Barnes & Noble and find like the really expensive imported British soccer magazines, 442 and that kind of stuff. The Eurosport catalog was another source of information. People don't understand pre-internet.
No,
you had to work for this stuff.
No, it was tough. And really, that FIFA video game was such a source of information to learn out who the clubs were and what the leagues were and how things worked. But I got it. We've come to the part. We're 24th minute here, and we've come to the dreaded drinks break, Mike. I don't think you and I are going to say anything that hasn't been said in the week since this tournament started. We can't really add anything original to the discourse, but maybe we can just throw some drops in the bucket, and maybe with some sheer bile and just hot takery, we can maybe get to the bottom of how just disgraceful it is for Fox to be cutting to a full-on commercial break during these drinks breaks that don't always need to be happen. Games are being played inside of domes. Not this one, but like in Atlanta, they take a drinks break ostensibly because of the temperature. It's in a dome, folks, but they have to do it for consistency. But then Fox conveniently takes the opportunity to cut away for a full break. Meanwhile, I've been watching. It's caused me to watch a lot more on Telemundo because I don't like that commercial break. So I'll go over and I'm working on my Spanish. I speak very decent Spanglish and very poor Spanish. But I'll switch over to Telemundo to work on my Spanish and avoid that commercial break. And just, I like the way that Telemundo's showing the cutaways of the huddles, replays of any good action. You're hearing from the announcers some analysis. If you're going to do this stupid drinks break, the disgraceful act of cutting to a commercial, again, everyone said it. I'm throwing my 2 cents on the pile. Mike, you're a lawyer. Can we sue him?
Anybody can sue anybody for anything. So
Okay.
feel free. Hey, I just collected my $6.48 from the Facebook class action suit. So
I love it. For
dreams
the price
can
of a
come
latte.
true.
You can subscribe to a podcast for the price of a latte. There you go.
So see, those guys, it all started with a dream for those guys and that lawsuit. So maybe your drinks break class action. But
I just think they could do a picture-in-picture thing like golf, at least on Fox. If you're going to show commercials, keep it at the stadium. Don't cut away fully from the stadium, right?
Yeah, I also just feel like it's not that necessary. Kids in America play 90 minutes in the summer. They can also feel free, run over and grab a drink from your bench.
Right. When the ball's at the other end of the pitch or whatever,
Yeah,
exactly.
or when there's a break in the action. I don't know. So does it keep me up at night? Not really, but I do think it affects the competitive aspect of the game. I'm trying to.
Yeah.
I assume it. It probably helps the teams. Like I said, some of them, maybe they're not super deep.
Yeah. The funny thing is, it's near universal outrage. There's not one single person who thinks it's a good idea to be cutting to commercial breaks. That's as far as fandom side or punditry side. Obviously, some Fox sales executives are pretty happy about it, but it's not going to change. We can tweet ourselves into a freaking blind rage. There's no online campaign that's going to get Fox to change course here. We're already a week into a 5-6 week tournament, so I guess we just got to grin and bear it. But the action is back, thankfully, and Colombia is back on the ball and dominating yet again. Uzbekistan, are they going to run out of steam here? Is it like a March Madness thing where like the 14 seed or the 13 seed just kind of keeps it tight for a while and just runs out of steam, or where do you see this going?
I think it could, but I mean that's part of why. If you're unlucky enough to watch a lot of soccer with me, you'll hear me say a lot of times, move the ball side to side, make the defense work.
Yeah.
So I think if Colombia succeeds in doing that, just making these guys suffer, at some point, other than the guy who plays for Man City, some of these guys probably aren't that great, and someone's going to make a mistake or just get worn out. So.
Yeah, I'm calling up. Let me switch screens here that we're sharing and see if this works. Yeah, I'm calling up. I love these heat maps that come up on SofaScore. So if I call up, the heat map on some of these midfielders, they are already. It's like you say, the guys that should be the center mids are having to move up to the wings a little bit more than you'd like to see. They are playing a 3-4-2-1, which is a fun little formation. I guess it's essentially 5 at the back. You could call it a 5-2-3 or 5-4-1 also. But Kusanov, the guy that plays the Pep's boy, Man City guy, he's having to play up near midfield a lot. You can see from the heat map. So the Uzbek guys are having to move a lot, like you said, and Colombia is moving the ball side to side as you advised. So maybe they're listening to you.
They could probably use Carlos Valderrama right about now.
Well, yeah, talk about 94. I remember that was one of the big pitches, like one of the huge selling points and advertising points of like trying to get Americans who didn't know anything about soccer was like, look at this guy with the crazy hair, like you'll love to see Carlos Valderrama play. He's wild. He's like a midfield trickster with wild hair, and hey, they might do pretty well in this tournament. And oh, did we mention he has crazy hair? Like it was just it was you couldn't get away from it. And then he came to play in MLS, right, a year after the Cup.
Yeah, I think he was with one of the Florida teams, wasn't he? Tampa or Miami Fusion, something like. But he's a good player. I mean, I enjoyed playmaker. That was actually a great team. They should have done a lot better.
Right. I mean, it's kind of funny. You'd think we were maybe burying the lead because so much time has passed, 32 years. But, 20 years ago and even 15, you couldn't talk about Colombia playing in an American soil World Cup, even though they're in Mexico, but without having to bring up the whole own goal and the, the Pablo Escobar and the situation there when the U.S. earned that scrappy draw against Colombia, led to some tragic consequences for them. But nowadays, people don't even think about that story too much.
Yeah, I remember how that was just that was like our miracle on grass.
Right. Yeah.
Back then we had that U.S. team that was just so patched together. You're hoping like.
Yep.
Some guy from like the German second division.
It wasn't Dooley. Like Wegerle. Roy Wegerle was on that team or something like that.
Yeah, and, remember we had Tom Dooley.
Yeah.
The most American name, but he was like a German basically.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and of course Lawless was on the team, and Marcelo Balboa, and just like what a squad. Yeah, for sure.
Tab Ramos, NC State legend.
Shit, Tab. At one point, could maybe have laid claim to best American attacker of all time. He's quickly fallen farther down the list, but he was a good player. So, Mike, just I should brag on you a little bit because you are a trivia expert. I love trivia, and I think I'm pretty good at trivia, but I would never want to take you on because you just seem to know it all. Not only did Carlos Valderrama play for one of the Florida MLS teams, he played for both of them, both the Tampa Bay Mutiny and the Miami Fusion, as well as a brief stint with the Rapids at the end of his time. LP Bay was a Florida man through and through, which probably was a pretty nice life for a Colombian superstar to spend a few years living in Miami, being rich. Probably wasn't the worst thing for him, despite the disappointment of the '94 Cup.
Yeah, they had. Remember, they had Faustino Esprilla, was a great forward.
Colombia.
He played for Newcastle.
Oh,
that's a nice pass.
Post.
Ooh,
Lucho off the post. Luis Diaz off the post, baby. That was tight. That was tough. That was a really nice ball. Beautiful, beautiful pass. Came from central midfield and found Luis on a run. They're calling it a save. I think they're giving him. It might have been a save off the post.
I think you got
32 minutes in, and what a play.
I guess we'll see.
I'm calling that not a save, I think. I don't know if you're watching it. Tell us in the chat what you think. I don't think the keeper even gets quite a fingernail on it. He does pop it up to prevent a rebound goal, but that's unlucky for Luis Diaz off the post, off a sick little slide pass through ball from Arias in the center midfield. Good stuff from Colombia. They're starting to turn the screw a little bit here, Mike.
Yeah, and I mean, I'd say go back to that well. That defender is right now going, holy crap. I really avoided one right there. So go right back at him. Yeah,
that's we're looking at Abdullah Abdullayev, Uzbekistani central defender, plays for Diba Al Fujairah. Don't know what club that is, but season tickets are probably a decent value. I got to drink to that. I got to drink. I feel like I'm not getting drunk enough. I like to be tipsy on these streams, and I haven't really made too much of a dent in this bottle. I need to work on this.
Ooh.
As Colombia really starts to pressure here. And was that who I thought it was? On Taylor, the referee. This guy, I've seen this guy. He's a bit of a clown. And Kusanov, he's mixed up with him right now. Yellow card for the Man City kid. Shout out Jay Lush in the chat. We feature your comment saying that was a nasty shot. It was. I mean, that had some wicked spin on it, some wicked English, you might say, if you were shooting pool And the way it bounced off the post like that, I'm shocked. That looked like one of those ones that could have gone off the post and in. It was kind of shockingly stayed out. Really good stuff. Do I dare risk calling up a highlight and showing it? Probably not. I can't afford to get us kicked off on this live stream. You don't know this, Mike, but Johnny Hayes and I, co-host, co-creator of the show, loves to. We do like Charlotte FC recaps, and I love to like try to sneak as many highlights in as possible until YouTube kicks us off and MLS files a quick copyright review against us, and then the stream gets paused for a few minutes, and then we just keep going, and then it comes, and then they check and see that we're just a bunch of fan cast guys not trying to steal money from MLS and Apple, and they let us go again. So it's kind of funny. I don't know how Fox would treat us, though. Man, how's that go off the inside of the post and stay in? We're seeing some replays here finally during a stoppage and play, and that's like, how does that stay out?
Let me ask you a question on the subject of replays. Is this like a FIFA camera crew and all of the broadcasters just have to live with it, or does Fox have their own?
So it definitely used to be like that, and I'm not sure if it is anymore. I was thinking, it's funny you asked that because I was thinking about this the other day. It used to definitely be like that. You had what was called the world feed, and it used to be that there was one world feed that everybody used and worked with. I believe now, because camera equipment's gotten so much smaller, because it's so much easier to lay fiber and things like that, there's a little more room for individualized feeds. And I don't work on the project, unfortunately. I would absolutely love to. It'd be a dream to work on the World Cup. So I don't know exactly the logistics, but I believe Fox probably has its own feed. There's probably still a world feed, and then probably a few broadcast partners are able to customize it a little bit and have, the world feed used to be out of necessity, because you have these giant cameras, huge rolls of thick cable that are tough to move around. There was just no way to get.
Give up that many paying seats for.
Yeah, exactly.
Cameras.
Right, exactly. FIFA, they're not getting. It's like they're not giving up paying seats. Exactly right. So, but nowadays, like I said, so much easier, so much less labor intensive. You could say. I mean, people are still working hard, but. So long answer to your question, which is something that I'm famous for, taking a short question and giving a long answer, but I believe Fox is doing its own thing here for the most part on cameras. So,
and I just ask because there have been times in this tournament where I'm like, when are we going to see the replay? And sometimes you just don't. So I don't know if I'm blaming Fox for the world feed or whatever, but. It's definitely not like, you watch the Premier League and we have like a formal investigation on every call and every close play.
Yeah.
This one sometimes like, yeah.
Well,
maybe we'll show you.
That's a great thing to discuss, I think, as we watch Colombia still just work to create another big chance here, is the VAR in the world. So throughout the whole Premier League season, I think just the discourse around VAR got so just violently angry because people were just so mad at VAR and questionable rulings and how long it takes and just how it slows the game and changes the game and the forensic analysis, micromanagement of the whole thing. The automated system here in the World Cup has been great, and people are like loving VAR. VAR has no controversy about it whatsoever. It's efficient. It gets the job done. It makes the right call, and the game moves on. What can the Premier League learn from the World Cup about VAR here? Because the Premier League uses a totally different system for their own, and it is scorned and disdained, whereas here it's very much appreciated.
I don't know. Well, it certainly helps to not have the Premier League refs by and large. So that helps.
There are a few of them, right? I mean, that's a good call. Yeah, exactly.
I guess so, but I don't think like any of the Madley brothers are here. None of the fat ones. In fact, we were watching. I forget who was on before this one. Panama.
Yeah, that Panama game. Oh, Panama-Ghana was this evening. Really tough loss for the Panamanians. Ghana with the 95th minute winner, I think. Let me fix the screen again. Yeah, really bad news for them. The latest game-winning goal of the tournament so far.
Yeah, but my wife was commenting like the ref in that game was like really sprinting around,
Okay.
and I was like, yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Because he's
Get in
actually getting
position.
into position to make calls. And
Get off your ass and do your job, ref. Come on. What the
so,
fudge?
yeah, I mean,
You
the
know?
big part of the job is going for a 90-minute jog.
Yeah.
If you can't do it, then you shouldn't do it. But
Right. Then
yeah, I mean,
GTFO.
I have to say, like, I haven't spent a lot of time dwelling on the way the VAR works in the World Cup, other than I just can't remember it being an issue, which is nice because it's like as you said, sometimes you watch Premier League games and it just takes over the whole production, and I don't understand why. Like it's most
And
of
it
the
just
time it
starts making
seems
people angry. Yeah.
yeah, most of the time it seems like should be able to decide this in like 20 seconds.
Yeah. And most of the calls are extremely easy. And, and again, most of it here in the cup is automated, which is great, which is absolutely great. Nice tackle.
Ooh,
Uzbekistan is holding up here, but they are really starting to fall under the cosh here, Mike.
yeah.
So there's 5 minutes here to halftime. That looks offside. Ooh, Colombia's in. Colombia's in. Looks offside to me on first glance.
Well, here we go. Speak of the devil.
Yep.
Let's see how this gets adjudicated. That was a
Munoz, the
slip.
right back. This guy is a great player, Daniel Munoz. As I always say, I love to see a fellow Daniel thriving. Crystal Palace player. Wonderful little run spinning off the defender. But I don't know. Wow, I really want to see a replay there. Woo.
Yeah, if that was onside, that was sick.
Absolutely fantastic finish. I wanted to hold up just for that finish. That was absolutely sick. You're right. But
Liverpool
okay.
signed a Munoz today,
Yeah.
but
All
they
right,
signed
let's
a
watch
Munoz
it.
from Spain.
Oh, I think he's on. I think he's just barely. I think his elbow's off, but you can't call him off for an elbow.
Can't
What a
score with an
finish.
elbow. That was
What a
nice.
finish.
It's a little bit reminiscent of some Hamas goals from when he broke out in the World
That
Cup. He had some of these.
that's a fullback, by the way. I think was it, and it's Diaz on the assist. What a moment! Great service. Lucho made it happen. And
All right.
that's why Luis Diaz is the cover model. That's why we put Luis Diaz on the thumbnail for this episode of the show, because we knew he was going to have an impact. Sick ball forward, great run by Munoz, well timed, and just one of the best finishes I've seen this World Cup so far.
Yeah, and of course now the Uzbeks are going to have to come out and play, unless they are really aiming for like the goal differential tiebreaker. But they're going to have to come out now, so this could get more interesting.
Yeah, if we call up the Group K standings here on the screen, you can see that puts Colombia alone at the top of the group after the Congo-Portugal draw, which absolutely it's so fun. It's pretty funny to see Ronaldo just absolutely get humiliated today, with Messi getting a hat trick, Harry Kane scoring a brace, Mbappe scoring a brace, all the stars coming out to play, and Ronaldo just looks like an absolute clown. Where he basically played so badly that the narrative after the match ended was, should they bench him for the rest of the tournament? Absolutely great to see, because couldn't happen to a nicer guy, bless his heart, as we like to say down here in the South. But all of a sudden, Colombia looking to be in the driver's seat after that unfortunate Portuguese draw for their purposes.
Well, to be fair to Ronaldo, he still does look very, very well moisturized.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
got that
yeah.
going for him.
Yeah, he keeps himself in great shape, and for whatever that means, good for him. I'm not in as good of shape as Ronaldo, and yet I'm happy in life, and I don't feel the need to constantly perform and prove myself all the time. Although some people do say that the things I do on this show are performative, like drinking wine out of the bottle. Who knows? I'm going to keep doing it anyway. See, we need Jorge. This is where we need Jorge Torres back to get us the scene at Mezcal.
Yeah,
But he's probably
of course.
going absolutely nuts there. 2 minutes to halftime, and I'm wondering. I told you all before the game started, I threw a couple of 10 spots down on under 2.5 goals total for this game, and we're on pace for that. But the way that Colombia is starting to put pressure on, and like you said, with goal differential potentially always coming to play in the first round game, I suddenly am sweating it a little bit more than I was a couple minutes ago. And they might even score again this half at this point because the Uzbeks look totally rattled.
Yeah, I mean that's the kind of goal that will rattle you. Where you're like, holy crap!
Is that the goal of the tournament so far? I mean, that's a sick goal. Messi had a pretty sick one too. One of his three was absolutely stellar. People liked the Mbappe second goal, but I thought probably should have been saved by the Senegal keeper. Personally, should have had a hand to it. Some people call me a hater for that take, but that might be the goal of the tournament so far, just for the service and the finish against his body, flicking it over his shoulder, sort of almost a no-look goal. I got to call that goal of the tournament so far, Mike. I'm doing it. We make declarative statements on this show. We don't hedge. We don't hem and haw. Goal of the tournament, Daniel Munoz. Let's fucking go.
Yeah, I swear James Rodriguez had one like that, like in the 2014 World Cup. But it's a good one. I kind of like Gio Reyna's.
That was a rocket. Yeah. I like
nice and
Reyna's.
emphatic.
Yeah.
I like an emphatic shot to the.
Yeah, and Gio needed it. He was sort of exercising the demons kind of shot from Gio for sure.
Exactly. I mean, I don't think we've talked about that U.S. game, but
well, we're coming into halftime, so now could be the perfect time to do it. I can call up some. We can look at some stats from that one. What are you thinking?
Well, I mean, I've just never seen a U.S. men's national team play that well. I'm sure we've had more lopsided victories, but against decent competition, and they just really looked like they had a plan and they executed it well. And as long as we can keep Pulisic healthy, I'm not saying we're going to win this thing, but I think quarterfinals is a very reasonable goal if we can stay like this.
Yeah, I thought Pulisic was unfortunate halftime sub there. He was literally doing anything he wanted against Paraguay. He was just getting the ball and going on runs, getting the ball and going on runs, getting the ball and going on runs. He was unstoppable. He was training with the ball. He was kicking a ball around at training today. Hopefully we'll be good to go for Friday with one more day of rest until then. We're going to need him against the Aussies, who were surprise winners. We're going to need him for every game. They were, but the Australia surprise winners against Turkey. Pulisic did have, a long club season. So did everybody, but it was nice to see that we could score without him. Also, like you said, with the Reina.
Balogun nice
looks really good.
Too.
Arsenal DNA for Balogun, obviously, is what it's all about. We love that. McKennie played great as far as being box to box, and a lot to like of this team. Charlotte FC's own Tim Ream. Shout out to the captain, Tim Ream. I got to say, I was really skeptical of Tim Ream when Charlotte FC signed him. I always have to have full disclosure on that I wasn't the biggest fan of that signing, but God, I'm so glad we have him now, and it's so cool. We are Soccer City, but this is, a Charlotte-based show at its heart, and it's just so cool to have a Charlotte FC player captaining in the U.S. men's national team. I'd love, if you're in the chat and you're a Charlotte FC fan, shout it out. We love you, Timmy Ream, for the red, white, and blue, and for the black and blue, and for the crown, baby. This team could go somewhere. It's a little too early, Mike, to start projecting brackets and things like that, because you don't know where. There's so many permutations, but the knockout road is pretty nice when you do look at what is possible for the U.S. ahead. The toughest team it looks like that we might face before a potential quarterfinal will be Belgium, who don't look that good. So I don't know. What do you think of the road ahead?
Yeah. I mean, that's another one of these teams where, yes, they had a golden generation, but they haven't had another golden generation. So that generation is aging. So yeah, they don't
without
really
having really achieved anything. Unfortunately, De Bruyne looks really old out there. Even Tielemans looks kind of old. If you think that U.S. wins Group D, hopefully, with the way they look, they should. We'll know more after the Australia match, obviously. But they figured to be playing a third place team. That's something new in the World Cup this year. That some third place teams could advance out of the group. So they could be playing a third place team. Then they're going against Group G1, which, as I said, Group G features Belgium, Egypt, Iran, New Zealand. So that could be, it'd be how great would it be if if Iran somehow won the group, won Group G, and advanced to the round of 16 against the United States. That'd be absolutely amazing. But more likely, we're looking at Belgium or maybe Egypt there. How about Mo Salah versus the U.S. to get to the quarterfinals? That'd be incredible.
Yeah, and looks like they've got some young guy who scored for them. So maybe they've got the next Mo Salah on their hands. I mean, you think Egypt, the country's got a really big population. You'd think they'd have some talent in there somewhere.
Yeah.
So
Proud history. I was listening to a podcast about Egyptian pharaohs earlier today, and I was kind of had Egypt on the brain. So maybe we got him some karma there. Shout out to my boy K-Dog, great Arsenal fan, Kiefer, great Charlotte FC fan, great human being, and just a great proud North Carolinian. Says start Matt Turner instead of Matt Freese. Get more Arsenal DNA in the squad. I totally agree. Balogun is doing amazing. Let's get as much champion Arsenal DNA in there as we can. Turner knows what it's like. He wasn't part of the squad this year that won it all, but he's had Arteta exposure. Anyone who's had Arteta exposure, I think, needs to be getting minutes for the United States because he's the best in the game these days, in my humble opinion. But we're approaching halftime here. Uzbekistan kind of stabilized there after looking like they might give up 2 in a row. Munoz looks extremely happy to have scored, and it's a great half. It started off chippy, then it got kind of bogged down, and then Colombia really started to put on an offensive show, and that is the goal of the tournament so far for me, Daniel Munoz. What do you think of the first half? We got to kill some time during halftime, but I say we keep going. The chat could get a little stronger. I'm not going to lie, but we're happy that you're all here. The audience numbers look good, so we're going to keep going. How are you liking your first visit in 2026 to Soccer City, Mike?
I'm up, man. I'm checking out real estate in Soccer City. I'm gonna put down roots.
Well, we hopefully you're able to be a solid citizen of Soccer City, and you're contributing. So we're happy to have you, and we'd like to talk to you about a few deals that we might have available. Let's break down this first half, look at all the XG and all that, shall we? As it looks like that might be the lowest XG I've ever seen. Uzbekistan 0.02 at halftime. I know everyone has their own feelings about the XG stat, but that's pretty damn low. That's bad.
That's like what you get for writing your name on the SAT.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
That's
you
like
showed up,
200
you're
points.
there. Yeah, you had a touch in the opponent's half. That should get you there. 2 big chances with 1 being finished. 7 total shots for Colombia. They really did start to pour it on. And if they can start to get some of those shots on target, I think they're going to score more goals. More than twice as many passes, 309 to 121. Almost twice as many free kicks. It's not good right now for Uzbekistan.
And frankly, we haven't even really seen like a decent counterattack. I remember there was one maybe 10 minutes in where he kind of sprayed the ball wildly, but it's not like they've got like that one forward you really have to worry about on a counter.
Right, exactly. It's all just maybe some randomness. They did have a couple free kicks in the Colombia defensive zone. By the way, I've made contact. Everyone, if you're in line, stay in line. I've made contact with Jorge Torres at Mezcal. He is going to check back in for a halftime live report from the field. So don't go anywhere. We're grateful to all of you who've been here to visit. And
Hopefully
we hope more
we'll get
of you will
one
come.
of those. Yeah, hopefully we'll get one of those beer wasting celebration videos from Mezcal.
That would be fantastic. That's what we do at Charlotte FC is just throw beer in the air. Especially overpriced beer in the air is kind of a thing that we like to do. Yeah. I don't know. How's your ginger beer?
It's treating me just fine.
How do you feel about? Let's talk about this while we wait for something else to come up. Is this the year of Zlatan Ibrahimovic for this cup? I don't know how much coverage you've watched, but he's clearly the breakout star. He gets his own he's got his own set of themed, produced promos there that are created by Fox, that are all centered around him. And then he has made the biggest splash by calling Alexi Lawless ignorant in the post game show from France the other day, and everyone is loving the Zlatan, and I think that's exactly how he likes it because no one loves Zlatan more than Zlatan, but he's the army is growing.
He is making referring to yourself in the third person cool again.
Yeah.
So
And
it's
Danny
been
Graves likes that. Yeah, for sure.
It's been since Ricky Henderson, basically, since we've had a star who has earned it the way Zlatan has, and who's willing to steer into that skid the way he does.
Yeah.
So I'll take my Jurgen Klopp reading glasses off now that we're past the statistics portion.
The entire internet loved Zlatan calling out Alexei Lawless because everyone in internet culture has their own reasons for disliking Alexei Lawless. Full disclosure, I've worked with him before, and he was always decent to me. But since those times, some of the things he says do kind of make me scratch my head. So I get it. But much like the whole thing I said earlier about how there's no amount of internet pressure campaign that's going to get Fox to change their drinks break commercial policy, I don't think any amount of people tagging Fox in their social media posts and saying get Alexei Lawless off the air is going to work either, because that actually just makes him more likely to stay, because as Oscar Wilde once said, the only thing worse than being talked about is not being talked about. And in the attention economy, negative hatred counts as just as much, if not more, than love. So I think Lawless, the more people feed into how annoyed they are by him, the longer he'll be on their screen. So that's just a little pro tip for you. Quit tweeting about how much you hate him and just save those discussions for offline to feed your soul, your negative soul. But I don't know. They just showed Luis Diaz's replay. What's that?
Didn't he take some heat from Rebecca Lowe about the full kit wanker?
He did. He said full kit wanker, which Rebecca Lowe was not happy about, and she said if you had said wanker on British TV, we would have been pulled off the air. You know, people don't. She said the W word. She said if you had said the W word, you know, back where I'm from, and here, I mean, people know what a wanker is. Like, I think, you know, you fucking wanker. Yeah. I mean, who knows? But I guess it doesn't get you kicked off the air in U.S. TV. But you're the person who taught me the full kit wanker terminology. You want to explain it for the people, anyone who doesn't know?
Well, yeah. So this is just somebody, and it has to be a grown person, or at least like a teenager, somebody who should know better.
Someone
like
who should know better. Yeah,
little kids don't count. So this is somebody who dresses up in the full kit of their favorite team: socks, shorts, jersey, and wears it in public. And a wanker is a habitual masturbator.
Yeah, so, there you go.
So I don't know. I mean, it strikes me as one of these just, you know, two countries separated by a common language kind of issues. You know, wanker, yeah, I guess you wouldn't see it or hear it on like the BBC, but this is also a country that regularly uses the C word in a very friendly way, where we would be like, holy crap, you can't say that.
Exactly.
So, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, does the full kit wanker, does it have to include socks? If you're just shorts and the shirt, does that count? Is that full, or do you have to be wearing the socks?
That's probably, yeah. I think you're still an SW.
Okay, I would like to say it should include the socks, and but doesn't have to include the cleats. So just in time, Jorge Torres is back from Mezcal. Colombia's up 1-0. Looks like, did they kick you out? You're out in the parking lot, Jorge. What happened? Have you been booted from the party?
Gentleman and walk my friend back to their car. It's
what a nice gentleman. Well, quality guy. A friend in need is a friend indeed.
I tried.
What's the scene there? What was it like when Luis Diaz hit off the post? What was it like when Munoz scored that banger?
So, everybody in here for like a solid 5 seconds thought that Luis Diaz one was in. And then I had to be like, oh, wait, that it was the most half crowd pop ever. And just like, nobody expected that. But no, like, Daniel Munoz, unreal. I did not know he had this in him. I know he had a good one a couple years ago versus Spain.
Mm-hmm.
But, oh my God, it lit up in here. Just the perfect crowd pop you want.
Yeah, I mean, I love to see a fellow Daniel succeed. He's been pretty good player for Crystal Palace for the last couple of years. Lucho Diaz is absolutely killing it out there. and Colombia looks dominant. It seemed kind of was chippy early on, and then Colombia started to turn things up. Give us some crowd shots. Go give us some crowd interviews. Why don't you pour me a drink? Let's give me some scene setting, brother.
Crowd. I don't know about crowd interviews, but we have salsa going. We have the scenes is real here. Yeah. And the music
We see
is
some dancing.
fire.
I see some
Dancing.
Colombianas. I see some bailando. Let's go, baby. I love it.
The vibes is here. The vibes is there. It's
I love the flags on the table. I love the outdoor parking lot party. I mean, it's an overflow situation, which is very good. And it reminds me, like, there's a strong community here, Jorge, right? Like, remember when Colombia played Uruguay 2 years ago in the Copa?
I was there that game.
You were at that game. Yeah, exactly. And Darwin Nunez went up into the crowd and everything. It was crazy.
Yeah, did you get any shots in on Darwin?
Say what?
Did you get any shots in on Darwin Nunez when he went into the stands?
No, unfortunately, I went to that one. I went just to the game, but what's so funny was that obviously what went viral in that game was what went down in the lower bowl. But like, turn around. There's a fight going behind. There's a fight going on behind me as well. Like I'm playing, they were brawling, like going down, roads, seats and everything. It got one section. They got a little spread it out.
We only got about half. We only got about half that, Jorge, but it sounds like it was pretty intense.
Yeah. So, like I said, there was also a fight right behind me on that game. So, we'll see. But no, the vibes in here is amazing.
What do people think of Uzbekistan? It's a worthy opponent. Are they being fair? Are they over fouling too much? It hasn't. It started off chippy, but then it's been pretty good play so far. Pretty clean overall.
Yeah, it's been rather chippy just because it's been a fairly defensive game. I mean, like it's very low block, very you got to create line breaking passes in order to get through these guys because they're not gonna. They don't want, they're going to prevent as much as you possibly can.
Mike, what do you think of James so far?
He's been fairly quiet, but I still have faith that he'll come up with a piece of magic.
Yeah, his corner kicks have been decent, but Diaz, that was Arias who had the real nice through ball to Diaz, right, to set up that shot. He's looking real good.
And then Joe Arias also had one that just hit the side netting. It was probably the first good chance that they had. I think you need to go through Lucho even more. Let him work. Let him take these guys one on one and just create.
I think James is a luxury player at this point. Like who's worse, James or Cristiano Ronaldo?
I think Cristiano because no. Honestly, Cristiano because at least James gives you something you can work with.
Okay.
And a lot less miles on James too, I think.
Yeah, there's fewer miles, and you're right. James is still playing inside the team concept, whereas Cristiano is just like he's out on an island. He's on Madeira. Everyone in Portugal is playing for Portugal, and Cristiano's like playing for Madeira or the Canary Islands or something at this point. He's doing his own thing.
He's in the Azores at this point.
Yeah, it's wild. Yeah, for sure.
And I think the smart idea is going to be. If we're gonna make Lorenzo's gonna make a good tactical change. If it was me, considering the way Uzbekistan is playing, I would take out Puerta and put in Quintero in. That's where you have two versions of like two misses, and that way you start spreading it out as truly distributing this ball out and creating more chances out.
I've got Puerta's map up. He is the lowest rated player for Colombia in that first half. He is getting a lot of passing back and forth going, which was what Mike advocated, which was sort of stretch Uzbekistan out, just keep passing it side to side to side until you can go forward. But I don't see anything positive forward from Puerto, nothing really super progressive. So I guess that speaks to what you might be saying.
Even in the midst of this crowd, like I heard the commentators say, it was obviously in Spanish, but they were like, this second half is calling for like a Quintero and the way that he's able to distribute quick passes and just line breaking ones that will create, opportunities for these guys down the seams.
Yeah, and Quintero, I don't know what his contract status is, but he's a guy that at one point was seen as sort of a player that could go abroad playing down for River. So if he can make a name for himself in this World Cup, it's all there for him. So that's a good call that he might be really motivated. Uh, I don't know. Do you think we're going to see more? Give us a prediction? Do you see we're going to see? I'm mostly interested for selfish purposes because I have the under 2.5 bet. I can only fade one more Colombia goal. You think they get 2 goals in the second half or one here?
I think I'm gonna go a little conservative on this one just because of the way I saw the first half go. I'm gonna go one more, but depending on what the subs are made, that can probably change everything else. Because once the subs are made, tactics and everything gets changed out. But if you made me choose now, I'd go one more.
What do you think, Mike?
I think they're going to overwhelm them in the second half. So I think I'm going to say 2 more. I think it's a 3-0.
It's been a World Cup. I'd have to look at the numbers, but it's been a World Cup of second half goals. I feel like you used to say, oh, at a big international tournament like this, especially in group play round one, it's very conservative and teams don't take a lot of chances and they try to. But that has not been the case of what I've seen in so far in 2026. People are out here trying to score goals regardless of
Well,
game
a lot
state.
of these first halves in all these games are just let me fill you out and see who you are first. Before then in the second half, oh, I figured you out, and that's exactly how I'm going to attack you.
Yeah,
But
I
a
totally
good
agree.
example. Sorry to cut you off, but a good example of that is France versus Senegal. Honestly, Senegal in that first half looked like the better team. Second half, it got completely flipped over, and we know how that game ended.
You're right. That's a very good call, and I think they're just about to kick it off. Blake Bushy in the chat says 3-1 Colombia is the final. I would not put that past him. Put that past it at all because even the bad teams are scoring goals in this cup because everybody's out here attacking.
So unpredictable.
Yeah, for sure. Well, you can stay, Jorge, or you can go. It's totally your call. But the action has started again. What is if you can go sit and chill and watch the game, or you can talk with us here as we get going and show us some crowd stuff.
I can come back at post game. I can come back post game.
All right, come back post game. Come back post game for sure. Thank you, sir. Love to see Jorge checking in. Love to see Colombia looking good. I wouldn't mind winning my bet, but I don't really care. I'm just betting for fun. So that's just something to talk about while we're here. But thanks to everyone who has stuck with us now. We are back for the second half. Fun little experiment we're doing. I'll probably do more of this during the World Cup. It's low stakes. Like I said, we're not trying to break viewership records. We're just trying to have a good time. So when I have when I have the chance to watch a game at home, I might fire up the old live stream and see where we're going. Mike, what have you thought so far of your visit to Soccer City?
Well, like I said, I'm putting down roots. At the very least, I want diplomatic plates so I can
diplomatic immunity.
If
nothing
anywhere,
else, for sure. Yeah,
not get towed. No, I mean it's been fun, and and frankly, it's not a bad game. It's kind of an interesting contrast of styles, and it's one of these things where like. The U.S. used to be the Uzbekistan kind of team where you go, well, we got no hope, but maybe if we defend really well and get lucky, get a PK or something. So we'll see if they can hack it.
So you're saying the worst thing that could happen right here would be a Colombia own goal?
Yeah, I guess that would be tough. But I think Luis Diaz, I think they just keep feeding him down the left and just keep punishing that fullback.
Here come the Uzbeks on an attack, but again, they lack that. They get a takeaway. They sort of can dispossess Colombia 1 time out of 10 in the midfield, but they can't do anything with it. And they try a run. The run is there, but the ball's not there, or the ball's there and the run's not there. And then all of a sudden we're back with Colombia just kind of doing their thing. And I agree with what Jorge was saying about Arias is looking really nice in the midfield. And I'm not really criticizing James when I say that he should be benched, other than just to say that they don't need him. They've progressed past the point where they need him to do everything for them like they used to in 2014, 2018.
Yeah.
Warren Barton killing the analysis as always. I'm already dreading the next drinks break. I can't believe it's 20 minutes away, and yet I feel like it's just going to kill my vibe. But the good news is I don't have to wait for a hydration break to just chug wine. It's a beautiful thing.
Well, it's nice to see Fabio Cannavaro again.
Yeah.
Frankly, didn't think it would be as head coach of Uzbekistan, but
That was Cannavaro, the Italian?
yeah,
That son of a gun.
no wonder
I
they're
thought
so
that was
well
just.
drilled on defense.
I mean, anyone from that era of Italian soccer really doesn't sit well with me. Those are the people that try to kill Clint Mathis and said horrible things about Zinedine Zidane's family, and I don't like them. I'm biased against most things Italian soccer simply because everyone on that era of their national team was such a raging prick. But
Well,
you live long enough. You live long enough. So your grudges kind of soften. The edges kind of soften in life. So I don't really. 10 years ago, the sight of Fabian Cannavaro probably would have had me foaming at the mouth. But nowadays, I can't really be bothered to care too much. But it does make me happy to see him losing. Now that I know that, I did not know he was the coach.
Well, I do have a soft spot for undersized center backs. So he was probably like 5'10", but pretty dominant.
Yeah, I don't know.
But
I know.
you know my biggest complaint about Italian soccer is that it just doesn't live up to Italian everything else. The country of Ferraris and Lamborghinis and
I'm
designer
interested.
clothes. It's like then they play soccer and it's so defensive, boring.
Right. There's no flair, and obviously they're not here. They've missed 2 cups in a row, which is crazy. And as I don't really feel sorry for them. I think it's great. I'm interested to know how Cannavaro ended up as the Uzbekistan coach. I really am. But that's going to have to wait for post-game research because I'm not going to look it up right now necessarily. Unless I get really bored. But yeah, hopefully everyone's having fun. Appreciate anyone who's sitting here chilling in the stream with us. Like I said, we're... another thing, I just want to feel connected to this World Cup. There's a lot of discourse around... the United States and everything that people don't like about our hosting capabilities. And we're not the only host. Canada and Mexico are there too, but we've drawn a lot of the ire. But then so far, my friend John Hayes, the co-host of this show, he said it. We were talking offline today. He said it's the same old thing. Whenever a World Cup is coming around, it's complain, and then the games start and everyone just gets on board and enjoys the games. And that seems to be happening now, a week into this thing.
Yeah, it's like the Olympics, It's always a disaster and over budget and too expensive. And of course, just like soccer run by a corrupt international organization that's accountable to nobody, but they get away
worse,
with it.
FIFA or the IOC? They're both pretty bad. You have to deal with FIFA more often. So
yeah, I think it's probably FIFA. They stick their noses into everything, Are you playing in a FIFA-approved sanctioned league or not?
Mm-hmm.
All that stuff, but yeah, at the end of the day, they can get away with it because the product is good.
Yeah,
and they have nothing to do with that. But
right, they're the ones that got the monopoly on monetizing this thing that everyone loves. So, c'est la vie. But Colombia has definitely come out kind of quiet here in the first 10 minutes of the second half. Not really pressing the issue, happy with their lead because they know they don't really fear anything from what Uzbekistan can't really threaten these guys right now. As much as we've seen some of these smaller nations come through with scoring chances, and even Cape Verde had the header late that could have turned their dream result into a miracle result. I don't see anything from Uzbekistan really that Colombia has to fear right now, and playing on close to home soil and probably with huge support in the stands. They have to feel like this is a home match. It's almost a matter of just seeing this thing. The second half's barely just kicked off, and they're seeing this thing out.
I think part of it might be that they're just trying to see if Uzbekistan will come out and play a little bit more. But My guess is, yeah, they're totally fine with just sitting on this lead if Uzbekistan doesn't want to come out and play.
Yeah, I don't think they do. I don't think they do, but it's just a matter of do they probably don't feel as much pressure for goal differential too, knowing that Portugal and Congo had a draw. I have a theory. So the Portugal Congo draw screwed up one theory of mine, one thing I was kind of shooting for, and they just Fox is showing Gianni Infantino. Speaking of corrupt FIFA administration, he's somehow found his way to get to a different game every day, and it never fails to piss me off to see him sitting there. But regardless of that, so Saturday, June 27th, is my only real chance, I think, to get to one of these World Cup games. It's in Atlanta. It's Congo versus Uzbekistan. It's here in Group K. It's the third group stage game for two teams that I would have thought would have been eliminated. So maybe, prices would really drop super low day of, and the get in would maybe get to like $100, which is currently like 500. And Congo now all of a sudden with that draw against Portugal, if they get a win against Uzbeks, then all of a sudden we're talking about they have a chance to qualify as one of those third place teams. If they get another draw against Colombia in their second match when they play Uzbekistan in the third round, that's a chance to advance as one of those third place teams. So they screwed up my plans. I don't know if tickets are going to drop now for me. Notice how I relate everything to me. It's really all about me when I'm watching this. It's like my bet, my ticket opportunities, my history of becoming a World Cup fan. It really is all about me. I'm sorry for that. I'm not trying to be that way, but a little self-reflection. I have to at least own it.
We all have to make these decisions. Like, I had the Stanley Cup Finals in my hometown and had to decide: do I want to send a kid to college or go to Stanley Cup Finals? I chose college.
Yeah,
but
that's a better long-term investment.
In fact, I had a coworker. He was like, "God, I hope they win in Game 6 because my son's gonna insist we go to Game 7."
Brilliant. Yeah. Vegas. I mean, they should have won it in 4. They had the first 2 games kind of locked in, but they got it done. They got it done eventually. We love the Canes here. We're Canes friendly podcast. Although we don't really talk about hockey whatsoever. Jorge had called for Puerta to be subbed, and there's Puerta giving the ball away again. Looks like maybe a bit of a whisper of a handball on Jefferson Lerma there. Uzbekistan showing 34% possession here. That seems kind of generous. They seem more closer to 25 for me, but they're really just falling apart here. I guess I wonder where does Colombia go? Let's look at the knockouts potentials for them, because with Portugal getting the draw, Colombia has to have designs on winning this group now, especially being up 1-0, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, I think that's actually going to be a really good matchup.
Colombia-Portugal, or?
Yeah, similar.
Okay.
I mean, I just think there's similar talent levels.
And that's a round 3 game. That's on that June 27th. It'll probably be the thing. It probably will turn out to be a situation where Portugal can win the group if they beat Colombia, but Colombia just needs to get a draw to win the group, type of thing. That's one permutation. But they're in Group J, and Group J winner, if I'm looking at the knockout here as I move the screen over, 1J is playing H2. So Group H is the Spain, Cape Verde, Saudi Arabia, Uruguay. So not much of a prize for winning this group, thinking you might have to play Uruguay, right? I mean, that's dicey.
Yeah, although, again, I watched them the other night, and they're sort of similar. They got a couple really good players and several solid players, and you're not bringing anybody off the bench who's going to blow anybody away. But
they brought Darwin Nunez off the bench.
Yeah,
former Liverpool man. Come on now, where's your Reds loyalty?
I actually was one of his bigger supporters among the Liverpool faithful.
Shoot.
But he's a crazy person.
Did you see Fox has working for them Peter Crouch? Peter,
No.
the Stork is doing commentary with like in between game, like studio stuff, not in game, but he's doing like a on set live at outside of the stadium with Peter Schmeichel, and it's like the two Peters, and like Schmeichel's a pretty tall guy himself, but he's craning his neck to see old Eric Crouch. It's pretty freaking funny. My jaw dropped when I saw that coverage this afternoon.
Yeah, Peter Crouch. He's big. He's red. His feet stick out the bed.
Peter
was his
Crouch,
chant.
Peter Crouch. Yeah, I love it.
So everybody, if you haven't seen it, go to YouTube and do Peter Crouch bicycle kick. You
Yeah,
can see a 6'7" man do his
Doing
Marcelo
things to six.
Balboa impersonation.
well, we teased this earlier, so you know, you singing that classic chant rhythm there, melody, kind of gets me back to that topic of the European fans who have sort of rediscovered the United States and folks who are over here for the first time, having charming social media gallivants across the American South, and you know, Japanese tourists discovering free chips and salsa at the Mexican restaurants in DFW and things like that. Shout out On the Border. Well, let's get a little deeper into that because we didn't really talk about it, and this game's kind of slow for now. What do you think? It's a psyop? Do you think that this is all fake and manufactured? And you know, there's the German guy Freddie, who sort of had a really charming story going on his Twitter account for a while, until it started getting picked up by, like, you know, Sean Duffy, the Secretary of Transportation and former Real World guy and stuff like that. And you think, wait a minute, am I being clowned here into thinking some manufactured goal? Goal Uzbekistan on a Falut goal.
What
Oh
crap.
my Jeezy. Off the rebound. That's just a total howler fluke situation. Completely
Yeah,
against the run of play. Wow. How does that happen?
A classic crap goal.
Well, it looked like a cross that the keeper just kicked up in the air, and then the Uzbek player Munoz might be at fault also, which is kind of dicey, but hey.
And the Mexico City Stadium has been almost silenced, bar for a
Wow.
tiny pocket of
Wow.
supporters who are going absolutely wild.
Oh, shh. Look at him.
Take a bow, young man.
Take a bow, young man.
Said they in the game they're playing at their tempo.
That's probably onside.
And just look at the
Yep.
forehand, how he anticipates.
That's a crazy cross. That's a good shot. I mean, that is as fluky as it gets.
I mean, how do you not?
I mean, off the
How do you keep that ball inbounds as the goalie? Like,
Yeah.
First of
Oh
all, you
my
should have smothered
god.
it.
Insane bounce off the post. That's absolutely wild. That is what a moment indeed.
Substitution paying off.
Oh, the sub, and it's a sub goal. We gotta love a sub goal. We gotta love a masterclass from the gaffer. And
Beating Vargas.
Faiz
like you
Aliyev,
gave up.
he
Want the technique to have the shot, have the concentration, and then have the awareness.
insane. I think the sub was on the assist. Not. I think Faiz Aliyev actually did start the match, but I think the that shot came from the sub. That's wild.
All right. Well, do the
Game on.
Uzbeks want more? Are they happy with a draw at this point?
Wow, I'm shook. I am absolutely shell shocked, and did not expect to see that whatsoever. And shout out Faiz Aliyev. Can we VAR that? It's a really nice. Puerta should have subbed off, like Jorge said. Look at Cannavaro.
Debut match.
Now the shithousery has began. They're already time wasting with 28 minutes to go. That's brutal. That. Uzbekistan is already time wasting. Absolute madness.
Cannavaro, puppet master.
Exactly. Italian shithousery at its finest, for sure. But all of a sudden, everything we were talking about for the last 10 minutes before that goal in terms of Colombia cruising to win the group. We're back with another wide open group, and I guess that gives me good reason, Mike, to bring up some of the crazy ass groups we've seen. And maybe we can look at a couple of groupings because it's absolutely wild how open some of these group standings are. So as we keep an eye on the game, and there's a big chance for Colombia. Oof. And now we start digging in. Now comes the Cape Verde style park the bus effort from Uzbekistan. I don't know if Uzbekistan will get three guys together across the midfield line for the rest of this match. They almost certainly are going park the bus mode. And now it's up to Hamas to deliver on this corner kick. I said they don't need him anymore, but now they need him more than ever. So how quickly things can change in the World Cup.
Maybe some kind of free kick. The edge of the box, he might be able to do it.
I mean, I think my bet is pretty much effectively gone. I'm not too worried about it, but because I'd rather just see another great goal because I love the World Cup and I love soccer. There's another. Oh,
It was decent.
they wanted another corner, but they got a goal kick. Yeah, that's a goal kick. Good call. They're going to defend. They are going to defend. Let's look at some of these groups because, let's see. I hit the wrong button. Stand by. In some of the groups, it's fairly straightforward, right? In others, it's absolutely nuts. As they, are they? No, they're. I thought they. Oh, look at the Uzbeks dancing. Speaking of Europeans out here discovering America, I need one of those hats. I need one of those hats that the Uzbek fans are wearing. It looks absolutely amazing.
An Uzbek sombrero.
Yeah. And, oh, here we go. Colombia on the move. Surely. Goal. Diaz.
There you go.
Look at him. Look at Lucho. Well, there you go. How quickly things can change in the World Damn Cup. I just said it. And then they changed again. What a match. Another great match. This World Cup has been incredible. And I'm so grateful that it's happening on U.S. soil. I mean, shit. Bad turnover off a throw in, and you're facing a 4v1 at that point, and I think Colombia is going to score a goal here 8 times out of 10, and that's a beautiful finish from Diaz. I think he's pissed that Liverpool thought he was washed up, Mike. I mean, I think the only person we can blame for this performance right now is Arne Slot. I'm serious. I'm not. That's not a joke.
Slot out. FSG out.
I think the FSG out crowd is getting louder and louder after this performance.
Yeah.
Because we talked about how there's the aging veteran who can still get it done in the World Cup. There's also the, in his prime star who can just absolutely dominate at the World Cup. And if Luis Diaz wasn't already at the highest level of football playing for Bayern Munich, I mean, he'd be making money with every minute that passes with performances like this.
Yeah, and he might well be able to. I always considered him like an excellent complementary type player, but maybe he's making that leap to. Alpha
I mean,
dog.
he balled out for Bayern this year. Granted, it's the Bundesliga, which is not the Premier League, but I feel like he made Liverpool regret getting rid of him with the production that he had.
Again, I heard it as he wanted to leave, which I was a little miffed by, because he had that thing where I can't remember if it was both his parents or just his father got kidnapped in South America a couple of years ago when he was with Liverpool, and I was like,
I remember that.
Like, very supportive and whatever you need, blah blah blah.
Right.
Like, I didn't get why there would be bad blood. Like, again, maybe it was the Gakpo thing, which, if so, that would be very disappointing.
Yeah,
Like
agreed.
like most of Gakpo's cutting in on his right foot. Tends to be very disappointing.
Yeah, Gakpo is one of those guys that probably never should have left the Dutch league because he's not. He's always good for to show up in flashes, but I don't think he's consistent enough to develop to deliver in the Premier League. Like we talked about, who was it? Shout out to our boy Blake Bushy, commenter. He's the MVP of the episode in the comments. I don't know if you're even still watching, Blake, but if you are, shout out to you because you called the 3-1 Colombia, and it's looking like you're going to turn out correct here because I think Colombia's got another goal in them here with 20 minutes to go. The hydration break has hit, so let's look at some of these standings. I refuse to watch Fox's commercial like we talked about, but
Goalie's got cramp.
he's got a bit of cramp. That's a Dean Smithism. Oh, yeah, he had cramp. Yeah, so we had to sub him out. Let's break down some groups, man. Mexico looking strong in Group A, and South Korea. Czechia, for the team formerly known as the Czech Republic, kind of had a. This is a team that usually you think is going to be okay. There's a ways to go, and again, the wild card of the 8 third place teams getting to advance is definitely going to not eliminate anyone until after round 2 results come in, but not looking great for Czechia here. What'd you like in Group A when you first saw these teams?
Well, as I think you and I texted about, like, Czechs have had some great players and some great talent in the past, and I just don't see it on this version. So I think they'll be fortunate to qualify as a third place finisher. And South Korea looked really good. They always play hard and play smart. I think they've got a little more talent than they used to have. And Mexico is always a solid team too. I think I guess Raul Jimenez is pretty close to an elite player. They just haven't had, like, since Chicharito's prime, somebody who I would consider to be like top drawer. But
see, I like Jimenez better than Chicharito. I mean, I guess the numbers don't back that up, but for whatever reason, I'm a big Raul Jimenez fan. What can I say? I like the guy. Group B this is one of those wide. There's so many groups that look like this with 2 draws after the first round that I absolutely love it. No one in this group. We could break down this group, but I don't think anyone in this group is going to win in a knockout game. They all looked horrible. So let's move on to Group C. The Scots are kind of, you talk about Europeans discovering the joy of America. The Scots, the Tartan Army are the embodiment of that. They've really taken the country by storm as a group. And they drank all the beer in Boston the other night. And they've sort of set that up as home base. And with Brazil, having a bad result again. Scotland. This is a classic World Cup situation where the 2 favorites in the group draw, and then the team that's probably the third best looks really good against the worst team. But like, if you've seen a lot of World Cups, you've seen this group dynamic play out again. So this is kind of almost like flattering to deceive here from Scotland. But do they have a chance to advance here after getting 3 against Haiti, Mike?
I think they do. I think they've got a little more talent than they usually do. They've got Robertson, obviously the former Liverpool man, and McGinn is a good player, and they've got some other talented guys. So I think they could find a way, especially if Brazil can't get out of second gear. And in Brazil, this is another one where it's like, okay, who's the star on Brazil?
Yeah,
I guess it's Vinny. Right?
Yeah, it's definitely Vinny and Bruno Guimaraes, who's a midfielder, is probably their second best player. USA looks pretty good. That Friday night match against Australia is going to be massive. We'll go quicker. The game has resumed. We're 20 minutes to go here. Fourth quarter has just started at the Azteca, and James Rodriguez is subbed out for Campas as Colombia sort of puts the clamps down here. But Germany and Ivory Coast, I think, advance pretty easy. But Ecuador could make it interesting to get for a third place advance. Sweden looks really good. Vamos Gyökeres. The Dutch, I think, have a tall task ahead of them, but they'll probably advance as at least a third place team. This group is a bunch of losers. Also, I don't have much luck for Belgium. Do you think Belgium's golden generation is truly done and dusted?
Yes.
I think so too.
I really liked that. What was his name? Elijah Just for New Zealand.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
I
He was
think
good. Yeah, he scored a brace.
yeah, and his ability to operate in tight quarters, I really like. He reminded me of, Firmino in that sense. But see, he might be one to watch. He's making a name for himself.
Yeah, I thought Iran, excuse me, would actually really blow New Zealand away that game just because New Zealand had played absolutely nobody in qualifying. We're talking about like they were having 1-1 draws against Mauritania and stuff like that, but um, um, just as good. They had the longest road to get here. New Zealand had to play the extra qualifying game to get in, and more power to them for sitting tied for first in Group G. Chance for Colombia, by the way. Don't want to lose total track of that, as the Uzbeks are kind of in shambles here at sixes and sevens in the back.
As you
But they
used to
were
be
able
able to
to.
say.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Group H, I think Spain still wins this group going away. The Saudis were able to pull off a goal against Uruguay, but I think they might. I think Cape Verde Saudi is a game I'm actually looking very much forward to now for sure. Norway's one of my dark horses to go deep in this tournament. I think Holland is the best striker in the tournament, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
France, though, these two I honestly could see Norway and France meeting again in the group stage and then meeting in the final. Call me crazy, but what'd you like about France from the first match here in Group I?
I actually didn't see the France Senegal match, but
Okay,
on paper, you gotta love France. Norway, I did watch Norway Iraq.
they look good.
Yeah, I mean, I think Norway's another one of these teams where they gotta all stay healthy. And Holland obviously has to stay healthy, but he's always
Hmm.
healthy. And they've got Odegaard, so they've got some Arsenal
Arsenal
influence
DNA,
there.
it's a recurring theme, yeah, for sure.
But I just worried that if they came up against a team as deep and talented as France at like every position, they would be able to find some weaknesses there. But
Yeah,
yeah, they look good though, and having the best striker in the tournament always helps.
yeah. When you have Holland, you have a chance. Colombia, 15 minutes ago, Colombia just had a decent attacking free kick, but Arias shot it over everybody's head, so we're not missing anything too much there. Group J, Argentina, easy winners of this group, I think. Austria probably advances, and I don't think either of these teams, Jordan or Algeria, can move on. The goal differential is probably going to hurt Algeria, even if they do somehow get to 4 points. Probably.
Yeah. They've got some
Go.
decent players in Algeria, but I think they dug a hole and they're not in a good group to dig out of it.
Yeah. When I looked at it in the head, if you got 4 points, you're almost as a third place team, you're almost guaranteed to go through, and probably a couple of teams that get 3 points as third place teams will get through, but it's going to come down to goal differential, and I think Algeria will get edged out there. And then we get to this group K. Colombia looking good with it. All the scenarios that we talked about when it was 1-0 are back in play now that it's 2-1. So I think Colombia can probably start tactically positioning themselves to try to win this group as they play Portugal next, and Portugal does not look good. If they can if Colombia draws Portugal, then that's excuse me, sorry, Colombia plays Congo next, so they could be at 6 points when they play Portugal on the last day, and it could be do or die time for the Portuguese. And
Colombia
who knows what
might
Uzbekistan
want to think about.
could throw at Portuguese?
Yeah. But if I was the
Although,
Colombians, I might think about trying my backup keeper.
really, why
That
so?
was that was terrible.
Oh,
The
as
goal.
far as the goal that was allowed by Fazulayev,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, yeah,
Well, hey, like in having just watched the Hurricanes ditch theretofore very successful playoff goalie
yeah.
for the 27-year-old rookie, like there are times when you just go, this guy doesn't look like he has it.
Diaz
here's a
is
nice-
open on the wing again, and he sends a cross in, but it misses everybody. Yeah, I agree. Making a tough coaching decision like that to replace someone that you know if the other guy's better, despite what the past, like rejecting the sunk cost fallacy is a key component of being a next level coach. England wins this group pretty easy, and Croatia is in trouble for sure. On a similar reasoning that I gave for Algeria, as far as not a very enviable goal differential there. If we
Ghana's
look at the
another-
third place teams, Croatia's currently not. Well, they're currently fourth place, so they don't count on this table. But Netherlands, Brazil, this table means nothing in this time of the situation. We got to get through round 2 before it actually starts to mean something. But this game does not mean nothing. This game has been great. It's been fun watching it with you, Mike, because there's about 12 minutes left. We're back to the monitor there. I think Colombia gets one more here because it's what we've seen. Late goals are a staple of this cup, kind of like they've become a staple of the Premier League in recent seasons. And, when teams just go all out and attack like this for 85 minutes, then the defenses are usually pretty worn out for the final stretch, right?
Yeah. And this is in Mexico City, right?
Yeah, this is the Azteca. Or
So
the
this is
Mexico
it.
City Stadium, as FIFA would have you call it.
This is at like 7,000 feet. So yeah, you'd have to think like parking the bus for 90 minutes against Colombia at 7,000 feet. It's not
Right.
fun, but
And they're now subbing in guys that are quality. Colombia's got all the fresh legs substitution-wise. I don't know if the Uzbekistan's even been able to make any impactful subs. They subbed 2 guys, I think, at one point. But, not looking good.
well, and I was going to say before Ghana, boy, talk about a team that like for several World Cups in a row is like really solid and pretty stacked. They look fairly talent free.
Yeah,
at this
and that's
point.
where Croatia can hopefully, Ghana, Croatia is kind of like an advance. The winner, if you can get a win in that game, you pretty much buy your advancement out of the group as second place behind England. I agree. But and like they almost are for different reasons. They fit similar profiles of a team that could usually be counted on to go get a win in the World Cup that maybe looks a lot shakier here in 2026. So yeah. Again, it's all just after one round. That's a good thing about World Cups. As we kind of wind down the coverage here, Colombia
It's
doesn't
all
look
small
too
sample
threatened.
sizes in World Cups.
Yeah, small sample sizes. Yep. And they move in stages, and it's kind of like an NBA playoff series. A one win can change the momentum and change the conversation completely. But just like that Uzbekistan goal kind of changed the conversation around this game for a minute until Luis Diaz quickly restored order, and he looks hungry enough for one more, I think. Did you watch any of Australia-Turkey? I think it was a midnight game, so I'm guessing the answer is no.
I don't think I did.
It was a midnight kickoff. I didn't watch any of it either, but I was surprised
Actually, you know
Australia
what?
won.
I actually assumed in that game when I saw the midnight thing and it said 12 a.m. I was like, oh, some idiot at Fox doesn't know the difference between AM and PM. That's tomorrow at noon.
Right, yeah.
Because I was like,
yeah.
why would you have a midnight kickoff? So little did I know.
I mean, it was at Levi Stadium, I think. So 9:00 in California
West Coast
time.
time.
Yeah. Again, what is that? That's probably the friendliest one for the Euros. Is that the U.S. West Coast kickoffs are the ones that the European fans are appreciating the most, probably.
Yeah, well, that would have been in England.
6
Well,
a.m.
Yeah.
Breakfast with the Aussies. Why the hell not?
Breakfast at Levi's.
Yeah. The Jeans Stadium. The Telemundo, the Stadium of Jeans. That's what the Telemundo announcers called it yesterday. Goes, Levi's Stadium, El Campo de Jeans. It's pretty fucking funny. Good times. That's why I watch the Telemundo broadcast. It's way better. Uzbekistan actually is getting some possession in the attacking half here, which really surprises me here. Colombia's not really in any danger, but they're being a little lackadaisical, to coin a phrase. And
For a team that gave up the goofiest goal, they're a little
right.
in this game. Yeah, I'd be a little more like, hey, let's get it back down the other end.
Don't get me wrong. I would love to see an Uzbekistan goal. I just don't think I'm going to. But props to them for not giving up. But again, like you mentioned, the altitude, going all out in this losing effort right here could burn them in a situation where they're going to want to go get a result against Portugal if they can. So, yeah, I don't know. But Cannavaro, he looks pretty intense. An intense son of a gun. Shout out to anyone who's watched with us. We've been here. We're approaching the 2-hour mark on the live stream. We're approaching about 10 minutes left with stoppage time in this game. And there's a little bit to play for here. I don't think it's dead. But thanks for everyone who's been watching. Get some comments going. Subscribe to the channel if you don't already. I'll put that call out there. Click like on the stream, please, just for S's and G's. And drop a comment about what you think we should be talking about, if you think this is worth it, if we should never do this again. I don't know. I've had a pretty good time. You had a good time, Mike?
Of course.
Of course. Of course.
We got soccer. We got friends. We got ginger beer and wine.
Yeah, baby. Malbec.
What else? What else do we need?
I'm doing pretty good on the bottle. I don't know if we can measure, if the light's making it too hard to see the level of the bottle there, but I've done pretty well. Done pretty well. I'm pretty proud of myself.
In my quest to find beer that tastes like beer, I found this one by Founders Brewery.
Okay,
and it's called Easy Drinking Beer.
I love
which
it.
I liked because I hate a challenge. When it comes
No,
to
exactly. Well, is it easy drinking? Does it live up to the label?
Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, it's not. I think what they're basically getting at is this is not a crazy hoppy IPA.
Yeah.
Which have their place, but as you know,
Yeah.
my quest is to find the platonic ideal of a beer, and I sort of started with Heineken as my baseline.
Okay. So. I love it. Yeah, I've gotten into it's funny, my history with when this show started in like 2022 is when I started kind of hitting the IPAs, and I've become a bit of an addict. But I like a citrusy one. I don't necessarily like a foggy one. It can be a little hazy, but too hazy is going to knock me out. Colombia wants a goal.
Uh-oh.
Ooh, side netting once again. Jefferson Lerma. That's
You're
why
like
he plays
1 second ahead of me.
That's why he plays defensive midfield instead of attacking midfield. But he does play in the Premier League, so good on him. Yeah, man. I mean, you've come to Hopfly. You've come over to Charlotte and visited Hopfly, the home of some of the best IPAs in town. So
Yeah.
you know what it's all about. How about our boy Hefer God says, "Hey Danny, what's up? Welcome, Hefer. I'm glad you made it. Glad you made it home. I know thanks for jumping on the live stream right when you got home from work, my friend. Your brother's doing great work shooting the photography at games recently on the Soccer City credential. So shout out to him as well, Javi. And yeah, Hefer, tell us what you think of this game so far. If you've been able to watch, I don't know if you saw much at work. Good times are being had. I don't think Uzbekistan's going to score, but I wouldn't be surprised if they do. I don't know. Is that too much equivocating? Probably for this show. No one player's really caught the eye. Although Fazulayev, that's something that we don't know who it's going to be yet, but there are going to be those folks who sort of make it the big career move based on a World Cup. One of my favorite phenomena. Has anyone caught your eye as a potential big post-Cup transfer, the way James Rodriguez once was to Real Madrid back in the day?
That Elijah Just for New Zealand, I really like.
Yeah, you mentioned Just, yep.
Fazulayev is like the Uzbek version of that guy. Actually, they're both kind of these diminutive but skillful, quick guys. I don't know. I think Diaz is primed take a leap, but I don't think it's going to.
Right,
It's
he
not
already
like a
plays for
coming out
Bayern
party.
Munich, so where does he
Yeah.
go? Yeah, it's not like he's going to go to Barcelona. So yeah,
What about you?
nobody
You know,
yet. I think it's
Balogun.
a little too early to
Balogun.
tell. I'm watching it from the perspective of guys that Charlotte FC could sign because we really need one more winger / attacker somewhere. We're about to sign Alan St. Maximan on a free, former Newcastle man. And how about this? We talked about this on the show earlier, Hefer. So go back and watch it. You're gonna have to go back and watch from the beginning to hear our whole Cannavaro discussion. But yeah, it is very surprising that Fabio Cannavaro is the coach of Uzbekistan, and you got to have a good coach in the World Cup. It may carry them through. Who knows? You got him a goal. Will he get him two? They got a corner kick here with 2 minutes to go in regular time. Could it be scenes? And of course, now it's the ref show. The refs have been okay so far in this cup, but I hate when the ref makes it all about themselves.
Here comes an English ref.
Yeah, freaking Taylor, son of a gun.
I think Balogun actually.
Great call, Balogun. Yeah, that's a very good call. From Monaco
what
to a top league is very possible.
What I really liked was how he rode that tackle and then cut to his left and then and finished. I was like,
and shot off a laser. Yeah,
yeah.
I'd say that was the best U.S. goal, even better than Gio's personally. I agree. I'm with you.
Yeah,
on that. Yeah.
I mean, that just showed me because there's lots of tall, fast guys who, they can be goal poachers and get the tap ins. It's the guys who can ride a tackle and still make a move. And,
Lukaku style. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I could see him making a move to somewhere.
Yeah, speaking of the Charlotte FC perspective, we were such big fans of Patrick Agyemang, who was potentially going to earn his way. I think he was going to get minutes this cup. He was certainly going to be on the squad. Don't think he was going to start over Balogun, but I do think he was going to be an impact sub for the U.S. and get his a name for himself to maybe he plays for Derby County, which they made a run at promotion this year but failed. So he's and then he tore his ACL, so he's rehabbing to hopefully come mid-season back to the EFL next year. But I think he was a guy that he was being scouted by Crystal Palace already, playing for Derby, and we would have loved to see what he could have done for the U.S. men and for his own career, because we love Patrick. Shout out Agyemang, another friend of the show, another guy who's been on the show before. So shout out to him, and
as
good
the
times.
Brits would say.
But it's great to see Balogun. It's great to see Balogun like fulfilling his potential for sure.
Yeah. But that's the other nice thing with the 48 teams, and there's just a lot more to come, and I'm sure we'll have one or two more breakout guys.
Right, yeah. That we don't know who the person is necessarily just yet, I don't think. But the other thing with 48 teams is there's more opportunity, but it's harder to spot the person too. It's like I didn't get to see as many early games as I wanted to, and again, I will humble brag that a big reason for that is that I spent the weekend in Puerto Rico, so I didn't get to see as many of the first round one games as I might have been sitting at home. But round two, I'm going to be locked in. So 8 minutes of stop. We're 1 minute into 8 minutes stoppage time here announced, and it's Colombia is almost kind of like at this point just letting Uzbekistan come at them, but then just like swamping them, as they try to enter the final third and just kind of suffocating any potential attacks. And it's kind of impressive, I think at 20 minutes ago I would have tipped Colombia to add a third, but now I'd be surprised if it happens. So they've kind of ready to just take their 3 points and get back to the hotel.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, shit. Forced to save. Ball starts, and he wants a handball. The ball I mean, that's the thing. When you're the lesser talented team, you just if the team with the lead is going to let you come at them, just start kicking pinballs around the box. That's dangerous. I like the header from 17
all the way across the mouth of the goal there.
I mean, it is a hand. I mean, it did hit his arm, but I don't think that you call handball there. But that did hit his arm. Wow, that's funny. Oh man, Cannavaro's men are just not giving up. I love to see it, and I'm not a big fan of his, but respect to his coaching.
8 minutes strikes me as a lot, actually.
Well, there's 3 minutes built in for the hydration break, right?
Okay.
So it's like, yeah, like it's weird. And then you had a little bit of the shithousery around the 1 hour mark where right after Uzbekistan tied it, they tried some time wasting. So I don't know. I never know any. I never know anymore. Have you seen? I saw that they were talking about maybe changing the rules of the game to like have a 45-minute clock that counts down and stops when the ref blows the whistle. I don't know. It's weird.
I mean, I
I
wouldn't mind if they like actually kept it very precisely. Just stop the clock when there's time wasting, when the ball goes out of bounds. But
yeah.
there'd have to be so much transparency. We'd basically have to have the referees watch like on our
Yeah.
screen, or people
Which
would.
in 2026 shouldn't be that tough to do, right?
Yeah.
Like they should have a RF. They should be able to RF link the referee's wristwatch to a signal receiver somewhere close by that can then feed that data to a billion clocks around the stadium. I don't understand why that's not doable, but whatever.
But
Part,
anything short of that would just feed conspiracy theories, right?
yeah,
So it's all right, I guess, for the most part. There are those occasional games where you're like, "What the hell? We didn't even have an injury."
yeah, yeah, and I don't know. It kind of would put the referees on the spot because sometimes I think they're expected that they're keeping track of all the stoppages. But do you think they're really laser focused for the full 90 to be spot on with every single click on and off the wrist? I'm not sure. So,
Yeah, I would doubt it.
but 4 games tomorrow, Mike. 4 games. Group A and Group B are back in action. Literally, Mexico South Korea is an amazing game tomorrow, and then it's 3 absolute dogs for me: Czechia, South Africa, Switzerland, Bosnia, and Canada, Qatar. I'm not really interested in any of those teams. I don't think of those last 6 teams I mentioned. I don't think any of them go past the round of 32, so I don't really care. But Mexico and South Korea could both go past the round of 32. That's a fun match with a lot of star talent from Sun to Raul. We've been talking about him a little bit, but fun one for tomorrow for sure.
Yeah, I think that one's one to look forward to. Bosnia, Switzerland be all right. Could be like the Bosnians from Bosnia and the Bosnians versus the Bosnians from Switzerland. So be sort of like a homecoming.
Yeah. We got a question from the audience, which we always are going to honor the questions from the audience. So thank you, Hefer. He asks, "What's your opinion of the World Cup so far, Mike? What's your opinion of the World Cup so far? What do you think?"
I think we're off to a good start. I mean, it does seem like we are maybe in sort of a little bit of a down cycle when it comes to the powerhouse teams. Like Brazil just is not. I don't think is maybe they'll go ahead and think that they don't seem to be a classic Brazil squad.
Right.
We've already talked about some of these seasoned star veterans, but maybe that'll just mean that it's going to be more room for upsets and surprises. So.
Yeah, I fear that it's going to be a little bit. I made the NCAA tournament comparison earlier, and I'll repeat it here just to say that it's going to be the thing where there's going to be a few Cinderellas that get sort of to the mid-range of the tournament, but when you get to the pointy end of the knockout, it's going to be the usual suspects for sure, and that's probably appropriate for a World Cup. I like the way this draw kind of sets up for the U.S. I hate to get too over enthusiastic after one result against sort of a Paraguayan team that wasn't really ready for the stage and playing in tough circumstance, but I have a lot higher hopes for the U.S. tonight than I did 1 week ago on the eve of their debut in the tournament. But they play Friday. Anyone who's listening who lives in Charlotte, if you don't know already, Soccer City is part of a group. It's a large group. The Queen City Soccer Show is also, the Queen City Soccer Podcast is also involved in playing. I think I got that name right. Sorry, blame the wine. But we're getting a little karaoke party together. We're getting a soul food meat company in South End, Korean barbecue. They're hosting a huge party for Korea, Mexico tomorrow also. You can go to. But Friday, we're going to be there for the U.S. afternoon game, eating Korean barbecue, chilling. Then we got karaoke room reserved after. So if you're still listening to the show and you got no plans for the U.S. game, now you got them. Come to Soul Food, eat barbecue, watch the game, drink drinks, drink soju, sing karaoke with me after the game. We got a room reserved for a couple hours. It's going to be fun. I'm taking requests. You know I love to sing my karaoke, Mike. Just a couple seconds left here in this match. Doesn't look like another goal is going to get scored. Thank you so much for joining. We can't thank you enough, man. Great to see you. Great to see you and hang out with you and talk soccer, brother.
I switched to a new drink.
You got a new drink?
This would be the Carlsberg Champion brew right there.
Hell yeah. Liverpool, Liverpool.
That baby staying sealed. That baby staying sealed. There we go.
Go Colombia. Shows what I know. Just when I get ready to sign off, it's a friggin' 3-1.
That Colombian goalie screwed me. My prediction.
Yeah. Well,
but
shout
out to the other Liverpool guy. Got it right.
Blake Bushy. Blake Bushy called 3-1 Colombia. At halftime, he called it when it was 1-0. That's a huge shout. They're absolutely going nuts. They're really. Why are they celebrating this so much? I mean, I guess goal differential matters, obviously, but maybe they're just super happy.
Well, 2-1 is squeaky.
They're probably just happy for the guy that scored. It seems like they're like super happy for Campaz. Campaz is the guy who subbed in for Hamas. Maybe he's just a young. Maybe Hamintan Campaz. He is. What can we learn about him? Plays for Rosario Central, 26-year-old. So it's not like he's a super youngster. They just Hamintan Campaz. They love him.
How about that winger just fighting his way through to get the cross off? That was nice.
Yeah. I think Colombia is going to be heard from in this tournament. I really like all the CONMEBOL and U.S. and Mexico just playing sort of in home Western Hemisphere. You know, the Western Hemisphere home advantage I think is a big deal here, regardless of where the exact matches might be played. I don't like Canada's team. I think they're not. I don't think they're good. So we'll see. I think they're in danger of not even potentially advancing, depending on how things go in that wide open group. But Colombia, I think, is going to be heard from. And Brazil might be down, but Argentina looks as good as ever, and Colombia looks really good tonight. Just kind of casually. Oh shit! And there's Uzbekistan off the bottom of the crossbar.
Oh my god!
What a rocket that was.
This game.
Yeah.
It's been surprisingly crazy for a team that really should have and did park the bus for a lot of it.
A good dose of the commentator's curse for me, because every time I say somewhat of a definitive statement, it gets proven wrong. But that is a really wicked shot, and again, tough one to see go off the bar. Great shot. There's your final whistle. Could have been 3-2. Could have been 2-1. Was always going to be a good game, and what fun we had, Mike.
Indeed.
Blake Bushy, welcome back. You called it. We gave you shout out. Scroll. If you left and came back, we gave you your props, brother. Thank you for being here. Thank you, everybody, for being here, especially you, Mike Slipsky. Well, let's do it again. Let's do it. This was fun. We'll find another time. Yeah. We got several weeks left in this tournament. I don't think we're done here. Vote in the comments.
Hopefully the citizens of Soccer City feel the same way.
The citizenry, needs to make their voices heard at the ballot box. You know, you gotta vote or die, as Madonna and Puffy once said. And
are they citizens or subjects? Because I see that
citizens,
crown.
Citizens, always citizens, always citizens. All right, we won't waste any more time because we've been here for 2 hours. We love y'all. Peace.